From Ron Johnson to Sheryl Sandberg to Mickey Mouse, we have a slew of bold-faced names in stocks today. Let's join Axel Threlfel, our special guest from the UK.
Adding my name on the back of Mickey Mouse, I noticed. Yeah.
Bold-faced name.
Yeah, there you go.
Great to have you here from Europe,
Good
Reuters anchor. All right, let's get right to JC Penney. CEO Ron Johnson looking to turn things around in a year, but it's grim.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. It's not looking good for Ron Johnson. These numbers don't look good. He said he's 100% committed to this plan. Right. The question is, this idea of creating these boutiques, is it going to work for that really entrenched shopper that JC Penney knows? And right now, it doesn't look as if it is going to work. Right. The other question, of course, is, Lisa, are you going to bet against the guy who did such great things at Apple?
That's a very good point. I mean, same-store sales are down 26.1%. That's huge. I mean, they've massively slipped the entire year that he's been there. But you're right. I mean, he did, against all odds, he built this retail powerhouse at Apple. Yeah. But the JCPenney shopper could be a very different shopper, and this boutique within a boutique, store thing.
It could be, but I'm always a little bit wary of this. I mean, I've looked at some of the notes, and one of the notes said, look, the data says JCPenney is not a top destination, nowhere near to becoming a top destination. I mean, clearly these are comments that Ron Johnson isn't going to like to hear today. But having said that, give him some time, give him a year, and clearly some of the hedge funds are doing that as well. And we might be standing here saying, look, this boutique model worked fantastically for Ron Johnson, and what a sage he is.
Because he's saying, I'm not looking for great results right now. This is a transformation, big picture kind of thing.
And here's a man who's done so incredibly well, and he's saying he's 100% committed. You've got to worry a little bit about betting against that. And I mentioned the hedge funds. Bill Ackman at Pershing, still very much backing this guy and still very much believing in his story. Okay,
right now, as we mentioned, well, the stock's down.
And there's the share price.
Down nearly 5% today. All right. Speaking of bad news, let's talk about Groupon, because they really have had nothing but bad news since they were such the dot-com darling when they IPO'd.
I mean, Andrew Mason, of course, the CEO. I mean, he clearly focusing very much on Europe and how bad Europe has been for this company.
Let me just interrupt you for a second. Stock hit a record low. They're below $3 today, I think. Yeah, at 270. They're down 28%.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is bad in Europe. Clearly, a lot is being blamed on Europe right now for the right or wrong reasons. Probably the right reasons in
That's why you're here. Blame
That's why
Europe.
I'm here. Well, I'm here to try and sort of defend Europe. But, solid performance in America, though. Revenue's up 80%. I mean, these look good. Having said that, and we'll get the share price up in a second. Having said that, Wall Street does seem to be questioning the viability of this business model, and that is a serious problem for this this darling, as you called it last year.
Absolutely. The daily deals, I mean, that was their kind of bread and butter, and they have these Groupon goods as well. But their daily deals.
You know what? I've got to admit, hands up, I've never used it.
Yeah, I'm not a big Groupon gal myself, but Anyway, that's not we're not pro or con. It's just we're just weighing in here. Okay, let's talk about Facebook. As we were talking about the dot-com world. Sheryl Sandberg,
whose name has also been thrown in the ring as Treasury Secretary, or candidate for Treasury Secretary. But is anyone taking that seriously?
Well, the thing is, she worked in the Treasury Department under Clinton. She worked at the World Bank. I mean, she's more qualified than I am.
We will see. We will see. But of course, she's in the news because she's been selling more of her stock. And let me just run you through the numbers here. 3.75 million was sold Tuesday. Second stock sale, of course, since these restrictions were lifted. Last week, it was 7.4 million worth of Facebook stock. She sold along with some of the other executives at the company. Not Zuckerberg, of course. He said he's going to wait it out till September of next year or thereabouts. But 40% of its value this company has lost since its IPO. You can't really be that surprised when you look at the hit that, of course, this stock is going to take in light of these sales.
She still has 19 million vested shares.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what she does with those.
Okay. All right, let's move to the hot spot. It is sizzling here today with Axel. And as I do, remember, check out the snaps at the bottom of the screen for more headlines of the day. Here we are at the hot spot, Axel.
Very nice.
And
very nice.
You just traveled in. I don't know if you probably used, Reuters, not Priceline, perhaps, name your own price.
I spent the last few days in Dallas, which I've got to say is a fascinating place for a Brit.
Oh, yes. The little fish out of water there, I might imagine. I think. Okay, Priceline, though, buying Kayak.
Yeah.
$1.8 billion deal.
Obviously, the shareholders in Kayak like this were up about 21%. Again, we'll get those up in a sec. Priceline down 2%. This is Priceline pinning its hopes on Kayak building a global brand in travel planning and in advertising. That's where its strength is. That's what Priceline really needs to capitalize on here.
And of course, Priceline is known so well for William Shatner, Captain Kirk, who's been their spokesman. Now, the reports were that at the beginning, when he signed on, because he's been there for years, that he did get stock, but that he sold when it bottomed out is what I'm reading. I can't confirm that totally.
You know, I've got to say, you know, I'm not an advertising expert, but this is either going to scare people or they're going to love it.
Oh, they love it. Look,
oh, they do love it?
The guy's 81 years old. He actually has an app now of Shatnerisms. I mean, he's a tech wonder.
Yeah, you know, just on a slightly more serious note, Europe, again, problem for Priceline. It seems the Europeans are moving away, at least temporarily, from using this site. And sites like it.
All right, let's move back to the markets monitor and look at what's happening in the broader markets at U.S. stocks today, because they're edging up slightly. We had some good consumer sentiment news, highest level in more than 5 years. Wholesale inventories rose the most in 9 months, so we've seen, you know.
Yeah, but they've come from a very, very low base. I mean, let's face it, they have lost so much in the last few days that we needed to get a little bit of a bounce, especially as we head into the weekend. Right,
and of course we have the looming, you know, fiscal cliff. Europe always in the background there. All right, let's move on.
We still got it.
Yeah, we still got it. Absolutely. All right, moving on to Disney. We mentioned Mickey Mouse, Bob Iger, of course. Profits met expectations. Good business at the theme parks and
very good at the theme parks. ESPN looking very good. Even Paris, and it's been pretty much raining in Paris for most of the year. Even Paris did well alongside Hong Kong, California, and the theme parks there. You know, this is another great quarter for the company. Yeah, there are a few little road bumps on the way, and Iger has said this is going to be a very much a transitional time for the company. The animation Brave didn't do as well as Cars 2.
That's right.
But you know, I think, you know, on the face of it, this looks good. Yeah, the stock's down a little bit, 6.5%, but it's had a pretty good run. And Lucasfilm, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Right.
I mean, that really generated a lot of buzz. It really generated a lot of excitement.
New Star Wars movies coming out. They also own Indiana Jones franchise with that.
Exactly. As I said, transition year, more Star Wars movies. Home video sales were hit a little bit, but and sports rights costs were a bit of a problem. But overall, I think analysts like this one.
ABC and Hulu off a little bit as well as we go more into streaming online. But actually, this is a good point for us to remind folks to check out our new show, Take 120, because we've got a portfolio manager who says actually buy News Corp stock over rival Disney. Why? You're going to have to watch the show to see why. Check it out. Take 120 on Reuters TV. Axel Threlfall, fantastic to have you here.
Utter pleasure. I should come once a month, actually.
You should do more than that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
okay.
Thanks.
Remember, check out our Twitter feed at Reuters Insider and our YouTube channel. That is Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.